Well, I had a discussion with President Young about looking at the police department because they didn't want to take money from the youth fund. I've already had a conversation with the police department. As you all well know, we are $40-some-odd million in overtime budget. $42 million overtime budget. My discussion last week, well, actually right after the State of the City address, was with the police commissioner about looking at $5.5 million coming out, at least out of the police department's budget, because I'm going to hold them to a police overtime budget. I think if you go back and look at the history of overtime budgets in the city, while pays have grown as well, our overtime budget continues to grow under almost every administration. And I just think that the police department needs to stay within a reasonable amount of overtime. And part of what I've heard is that there are no controls in place to do that. And if that is in fact the case, then we ought to be looking at some tools of management that require controls on police overtime budget. It has to. And so I had that discussion last week. I'm still looking at their budget currently. I just know that let me just say, $42 million will not be their overtime budget. I'm not looking at just overtime. I'm looking at how we structure the police department in a way that is more effective and efficient. You know, whether we're even looking at some of those jobs that are civilian jobs that are being done by police officers. If there were civilians in those positions, would that be a decrease in cost? I'm not really sure yet. I'm working with the finance department to take a look at all of that.